you have all these built-in mini villages,
Right.
but if you don't
Yes.
do anything with it, they're
Right.
just people in the same location you are at the same time. They're not your village.
My whole goal in the
Mm.
conference is to let you know that you're not alone and there are other women out there doing what you're doing.
There is power to collaboration and
Huge.
community with women specifically. And you were
Yes.
creating this environment that you needed, that other women needed, and now we're doing it online and in person.
What if we had a room that had all of those people in it, and now
Mhm.
you get the advantage of having, six different experts in the
Yeah.
same room with you.
Hey there, my little biz besties. Welcome back to In Good Company, where real entrepreneurs share real growth stories. Thanks for liking and subscribing to my channel. Let's get into it.
When I was doing my little light research, I do research like this with my hands up here.
Yes, perfect.
That's how I can get closest to my brain.
Uh-huh.
And Wise Woman Mastermind, Women Mastermind. First
Correct.
thing that came up. So I've been in several masterminds as a business owner. I started my business in a mastermind. I was
Nice.
like, I really want a business, but I need people. And as a remote firm, I knew that very quickly that I needed to surround myself virtually and in person with
Yep.
other people doing the same thing. So when I
Yep.
saw Wise Women Mastermind, I was like, yes, because you're my people, like you get it. Now I know with any mastermind building, any group building, no one wakes up one day and says, I'm going to start a group today and it's going to be successful tomorrow. It is, I mean, I
That'd be
wish.
great. Right. That would be awesome.
We'll manifest that. We'll manifest that. That would be great. There is a long period of time when it comes to the building, not only the group, but the brand and the person themselves. So I would love to hear in your own words what you were doing before you built this mastermind.
Yes. And actually, it's good that you asked that because it looks from the outside that I did just wake up one day and I just had a mastermind business and it was successful and all the things. But no, prior to that, I actually had a branding and website design business for 9 years.
Mhm.
And I loved that. I loved learning about business, about design and websites and funnels and email lists and just all the things. And I was lucky because in that business, I got a lot of referrals. So I did some marketing online, but honestly, most of my business came from referrals. And it
Ooh,
was interesting before the website. So even before that, I have a degree in education and I taught adult education classes at night. So
yeah.
fast forward to the website business, then my kids all, I'm an empty nester mom. My kids all moved out of the house.
Yeah.
And then it was me and my husband, and he travels. And so then it was just
Mm,
me, and I'm
yeah.
behind my computer. I'm talking all to myself all the time, like all day long. And
Yes.
it was kind of a thing. And I thought, you know what? So one day I really just kind of sat down and I went,
Mhm.
what do I want? Like now it's my turn. I'm not driving kids anywhere. I don't have to be anywhere. And I actually didn't have that circle of other moms that you
Mm,
get when you're at baseball games and dance practices and all the
yeah.
things. And so I thought, you know what? I loved being around other women business owners. I love supporting people and I love teaching. I love facilitating groups. I like
Right.
that.
Okay.
And so then I actually was like, well, I wonder if I put together a mastermind. And I kind of asked around my website clients because I stayed in contact with most of them. I stayed friends
Hmm.
with them. I followed their businesses. Like I didn't just
Okay.
build a website and see ya. Like I
Yeah.
followed the business
Sure.
and they said, actually, great, April, that would be awesome. Like we would love to get together with some of the other ladies that because you know all these people, but
Yep.
we don't know each other. So we would love
Mm,
to do that. So I did it kind of was, I was like, well, let me just see if anybody
yeah.
really wants to do this, right? Because sometimes people say they want stuff, but
Yeah.
then you create it and then nobody signs up and you're
Right.
like, oh,
You're
just
like, what do
kidding.
you mean? You said you wanted it.
Yes. Yes. So I put some groups together and I actually didn't even make a website. I put it on a Google Doc because I thought I am not going to spend the hours that it takes to really build this out if nobody wants it. Like if people
Okay.
are just saying, but they
Yeah.
don't really. So I put together a Google Doc. I put together a Google like form for them to sign up, and I just
Yeah.
put it out there to my email list. And I thought, let's see if anybody signs up. And they filled up. I had two groups, and they filled up in a week. And I went,
Yeah.
oh, I am not the only one that wants
Yeah.
this. There are other women that see, like you said in the beginning, the value of surrounding yourself with other successful women business owners, or even women who are on the same track as you know,
Right.
trying to move forward, just trying to figure stuff out and want to surround themselves with other people. And then I went, okay, well, let me just make sure that wasn't a fluke. Let me try that
Yeah.
again. So the next month I did it again. I added two more
Mhm.
groups and they filled up and I went, I think I've got
Mm.
something here. This is really
Yes.
fun.
This is
Yeah,
working.
it's working. And so
Yeah.
then I just kind of kept growing that and then building that community and it really I just felt so alive. Like it was more
Mm.
like this is really who I am and where I want to be and I love supporting other people and I thought
Yeah.
this is where I can do it and not just have to like build the website and then see you buy. Like I can
Yes.
continue that support.
Yeah.
And so eventually I phased out the website business. I just slowly referred my clients
Yeah.
to other people because I'd met a bunch of now I knew other website designers and branding ladies and
Mhm.
whatever. And so I could refer all of my stuff out and I just
Yeah.
slowly closed that down. And now I do Wise Women full time and I
Good.
love it. I love it.
Oh, I love that story because you didn't know what you wanted to do when you were diving into what's next. And
Correct.
I think there's this idea as a business person that you're supposed to know what the next step is all the time. And
Right.
that I'm sure you hear this all the time. It's lonely at the top, or
Right.
sometimes you have to put your head down to be successful. And when you said what's next, you just stopped and spent time with yourself to
Right.
say, what do I actually like doing?
Right.
What fills me up? And it wasn't, let me just get on my computer and work. It
Right.
was, let me surround myself with other people doing this similar
Yeah.
things. That's so special. I think that in this world of people used to have villages, people
Right.
used to have all these built-in people around them. And you
Yep.
can make your own villages. Like you mentioned, when your kids are in sports, if you go to church, you have all these built-in mini villages.
Right.
But if you don't
Yes.
do anything with it, they're
Right.
just people in the same location you are at the same time. They're not your village.
Right.
So you're intentionally building a village for people that are doing similar things. So
Yes.
what are you completely online?
Yes and
Hmm.
no.
Okay.
So, all of the mastermind groups currently are online because the
Hmm.
women are from all over the
Okay.
US, so you can join from
Yeah.
anywhere. And like you said, it's lonely at the top, and especially if you're an online business owner, it's really lonely. Like, when you had the corporate job and you were working 9 to 5, you go to an office, you're in a cubicle,
Hmm.
there's people around, you have lunch with people, that
Yeah.
whole water cooler effect, you have people to talk to. When you're an online business owner, you don't. Like it's you
Uh,
and your computer, and
yeah.
I have so many conversations with myself.
Yeah.
But the mastermind groups are online, but I also do offer. So what I found is the women in the mastermind groups would tell me, they'd be like, April, this is fantastic, but it would be awesome if we could meet each other in person
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
meet other people and grow our businesses. And so I thought, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
going to put together a conference. And the very first one, I did exactly what I did before. And
Yeah.
this is so crazy. So the very first one I did, it was about, so I started the groups in January, that very first set of groups.
Yeah.
And by February, the women were saying, oh my gosh, we need to meet each other. Like, it would be so fun to meet in person, and that would be amazing. And I was like, well, you all live from all, you're all over.
Ow.
But so I thought, let me just think about this. Maybe I could do a conference. So about mid-February, I decided I am going to put together a conference, because I've done events before. I thought, never say this. How hard can it be? Because that always means it's going to be harder than you think it's going to be, and it's going to take you twice as long as you thought it was going to take you. But my, naivety, I was like, how hard can that be? So I found a venue, I booked the venue, whatever. In February, I decided to have a conference 6 weeks later in April, because my name's April, so it had to be in April.
Sure.
And I was like, right? How hard can that be? I'll just do a conference.
6 weeks.
But I sold, people bought tickets and they came, and it was fantastic. And since then I've done 3, so I've had 4 conferences now.
Okay.
And it's amazing. So it's kind of a hybrid, the online, and then you get to meet those women plus others. Like, the conference is open to anybody to come to.
Yeah.
So it's not just those that are in a mastermind group. It's open to any women business owner that wants to grow her business and meet other people. And we run masterminds at the conference, and you talk to people and you network and you make friends. And the idea is that you go home feeling empowered and inspired. And now there are other people out there that get it, that get me, that get it, that get what it's like to run a business. And that's my whole goal in the conference is to let you know that you're not alone, and there are other women out there doing what you're doing.
I love that. So it's you were maybe unintentionally building a space that you were yearning for, that you wanted. You built a business that served what you needed at that time. Exactly. And it happened to be what other women were needing and wanting, and maybe couldn't put words to it.
Correct.
And that's where you came in. And there is power to collaboration and community with women specifically. And you were creating this environment that you needed, that other women needed, and now we're doing it online and in person. And that is so special. There are so many mastermind options out there. And I say that because I've done them.
Right, of course.
I've always been in some kind of mastermind, and some of them are more specific, where they say, we're going to help you with marketing.
Correct.
Or, we're going to help you with coaching. Is there a focus, or is it women business owners, or what? Why would someone feel drawn to your mastermind versus
a different one? Yeah. So good question. So mine is a little bit different than some of the others out there. So a couple of things is, one is it's just for women business owners, because the dynamic is a little bit different when you mix men and women together. Nothing wrong with that. It is just a different dynamic.
Yes.
And often what I found with women, especially women business owners, is there are some things that we're juggling, especially if we're moms, that are just different, that men just don't quite get. And they're not being mean, and they're trying really hard to understand, but they just don't get it. And so there are just some things that are unique to women, and especially women business owners. So it's just women. And then it is you focused, and it's peer-to-peer. So what I mean by both of those things is, I'm actually going to go backwards with the peer-to-peer. Everybody comes in with their own area of expertise. So I am not the expert in everything. Now, branding, website design, you betcha. I got you in that area. But lots of other areas that people need help in, accounting, bookkeeping, money, like setting up the business, even some marketing, like different stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not the expert in that. But what if we had a room that had all of those people in it? And now you get the advantage of having, 6 different experts in the same room with you. And then the you part of it is you pick a goal that you're going to work on. So the groups that I have are 6 months so that you really get to connect with the other women in the group. You can support each other. You can collaborate. You get to know each other. And often the women do business with each other because it makes sense, right? They've just gotten to know those ladies in there. But you're going to pick a goal and you're going to say, okay, this is what I'm working toward. And then we meet every other week. But each time we meet, you just pick a different aspect of your, like, you're going to take your goal and break it down. And like, this week I'm working on the marketing piece. Can you guys help me with that? This week I'm working on the website. Can you guys help me look at that? This week I need to figure out the profit. You know, am I going to make any money on this? How many do I need to sell? That kind of stuff. Who can help me with that? And so it's you focused in a room full of women that are in different areas, but they can all help you. Because often we don't just need one thing. We need a multiple of things when we're trying to grow our business.
Yeah. And there's an accountability aspect to speaking your goals out loud.
Yes.
So I think that there's power in that when you're in a group of women that you're speaking your goal out loud, which means, are you going to go through with it? Or did you just tell all these women something that you're dreaming about and isn't going to come to fruition? Because most women, if I hear another woman say, I really want to get to a 10K month, my response isn't, good for you. That's exciting. Okay. See you later. My response is, what do you need to get there?
Right. How can I help you do that? How can I help you reach that goal? Yes.
What can I offer to help you get there? Let's do this together. Women naturally, I'll make a bold statement, want to help. We're helpers.
I agree with that. Yes.
So you're getting a bunch of these women in a room and saying, let's do it. I do agree with what you said about men. I'm in a B&I group, and our B&I meets once a week, and I love my B&I group. It's a healthy mix of men and women, mostly business owners, some business professionals, but there is a very different energy. It is a lot more masculine feeling, a lot more let's get it done. Not a lot of feelings, right? There's no, how does this make you feel?
No. Men are not going to show their feelings in a business setting. Women will.
Right. And I'm not going to be able to go into this B&I group and be like, all right, my kids are being doo-doo heads, and today is probably not going to be productive.
Correct.
Men don't relate to that. So you are building a room intentionally of other women who can understand and who can relate. My coach that I work with, she has me reading this book. It's like The Superior of the Man, or Man something, and it teaches me like how men think. And it's so interesting because it's bringing understanding, not hate towards man or woman. It's how do they think. So so I'm curious, that leads me to when you were creating this, when you were dreaming this up, you were mixing it up in a bowl and deciding, how do I want this to turn out? Is there husband in the picture that was guiding or being your cheerleader, or what did he think about this new thing you were doing when you were finally at a place that some people, kids move out, you're in a different stage of life, they might be like, hey, I'm just gonna go to the pool, I'm gonna go get a massage, love those things, I'm gonna go shopping. Awesome. I'm gonna go look at flowers, put my feet in the grass. That wasn't your next step. Your next step was, what can I create? Yeah. And so I'm curious about that.
Yeah, no, good question. I am incredibly lucky to have a very, very supportive husband. We've been married 31 years, and I adore that man. And when our kids moved out, I was like, this is great. Like, we have so much time together now, and we can be spontaneous. And if we want to just go on a weekend trip somewhere, we just do. We have fun together. We hike on the weekends. Like, it's a whole thing. And the other, and again, I recognize that not everybody has what I have.
Sure.
So I say I am totally blessed in that he will listen to me, just talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
And so we go hiking on the weekends, and he talks, like, you know, but he's like most men. I probably talk way more than he does. And so we would
really
go
good listener.
Yes, he's a great listener. Yes. And the other nice thing is he's been in sales. He's been a sales manager for about 25 years. So I can kind of spitball a little bit. And so I said, you know, we'd go hiking and I'd say, I've got this idea and I'm thinking about this and I'm doing all this research. And because I'm not one, I mean, it sounds like I just jumped into the mastermind thing, but actually I did about 6 months worth of research prior to that, just because that's my personality.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I would run the idea by him, and he's like, I think that sounds fantastic. He's like, maybe we should do a men's group. I'm like, yeah, that's on you. Like,
all you, buddy.
And, yeah, I got this. And so he is incredibly supportive. And then when so one day I'll tell you a little funny story that he loves to share, because he just thinks he is the funniest guy ever. Like, doesn't every man think they're hilarious?
I already love him.
Like, they have the dad jokes and they just think they're so funny, and he thinks he is so funny.
Good.
So one day we were just kind of like, I don't even know, just bantering back and forth, just kind of joking and stuff. And I was like, yes, I am the queen of the wise women. And he gets this funny look on his face. And I was like, oh no.
Here we go.
He goes, well, you know, if you're the queen, then I'm the king. I was like,
buddy.
Oh man.
This queen is running the kingdom alone.
That's right. That's right. I'm like, all right, okay, you could just be like the king in name. What is it called when they, like, you're just named something, but you're not really that? Like,
well, that's your husband. We can
and that's what I said. I was like, you can have the title, but you know, it's here. So that's our little joke. But yes, he is incredibly supportive, and I change my mind a lot. Like, I'll have an idea, and then I'll be like, I'm gonna do this, and then I'll sleep on it, and then the next morning I'm like, actually, just kidding. I was thinking maybe not. And he's like, no, I mean, he's good. But on the flip side of that, one of the reasons I love the mastermind and being with other women is that sometimes he's actually too supportive, where he will say, you know, he'll be like, that sounds great, I think you should do that. Or, you know what, that's amazing, I support you all the way. But sometimes I'm like, okay, could you not agree with me for a second? Like, put on that sales hat and then tell me what you really think, or tell me what I'm missing. And this, often he'll step back and he'll say, actually, that won't work for me. And I went, and I'd say, why not? He said, well, I can give you ideas, but he said, sometimes you just don't hear them from me. And literally, he's right. Like, somebody else will tell me the same thing. It's like, what, right? We tell our kids something and they'll hear it from the teacher and not from us. But sometimes, you know, I want him to say, you know, look at this and tell me what isn't going to work. And he's like, he goes, I just can't win if I do that. And sometimes, you know, so anyway, it's really good for me to have a group of women that I can go to that will be honest with me and will say, okay, April, well, that kind of sounds okay, but have you thought about this? Or have you thought about this? Or have you thought about this? And then they will actually bring up things that, you know, he might have thought of, but I just didn't hear it over there.
No, and I agree that, and it's so funny the way I'm going to say this, that to have a supportive husband is a blessing, because you've worked with other women business owners. I work with a lot of women, and more times than not, I hear my husband's not super supportive of this, or let me check with my husband.
I hear that a lot too.
And I always have to take a step back and just feel gratitude for the husband that I do have that is a lot like yours. He is the ultimate cheerleader, and there is no resistance. And I have asked him that before, why don't you tell me if something's not a good idea? Because then I have to learn that it's not a good
Right.
idea by failing.
Yes.
And he said this very similar things. I'm not the one that can tell you that because I will be
Yeah.
the bad guy.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you, you just go and fly and do whatever you want to do. The group of women that you have brought together are
Yes.
giving the resistance needed to
Yes.
think through decisions, which is actually a very masculine thing to do, to push resistance towards decisions, to think of things as a practical, logical way, to question, the steps to do said thing is a very masculine thing to do in a masculine
Yeah.
energy. So
Yeah.
this group of women is not going to be your yes men.
Correct. They aren't. Yeah. But they also will help give you ideas too.
Sure.
Because sometimes you're going to come and you're going to say, okay, I just need a second set of eyes.
Yep.
Like I just built a
Yep.
landing page or whatever I built. Can you guys read through this? Because I've looked at it 100
Yep.
times and I'm seeing stars now.
Yes.
So please tell me what I'm missing
Yeah.
on this. And sometimes they come back and they're like, you know what? It's fantastic. Sounds
Got
great
it.
to me, or
Yeah.
whatever. Or sometimes I just need an idea, or the other, when I'm saying me, but it's whoever, like,
Right.
okay, I want to start this thing and I have this idea. Let me talk through it, like, and
Yeah.
now give me your feedback, or here's my question, or whatever. It's
Yes.
it's such a cool dynamic. I think we do it naturally as women. We go to lunch with friends,
Yep.
we have girls' night or whatever, and we do those things, but it's not always specific to your business.
Yeah.
And so it's nice when it can be very specific to you and your business.
I agree, and it's I think when I ask my husband to look at something, when I ask him to watch through a podcast episode, and I'm like, what do you think about this before we post it? He's looking at it in a very different way.
Yes.
He's looking at it like, oh my gosh, you looked so pretty.
Aww.
Thank you. But how was the quality? How were the questions? How did my guest feel? Things like that. When you ask a group of women, business women, to look at something, they are looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, no bias. They'll probably still tell you you look pretty because women can be awesome that
Nice.
way. Still
Yes.
feels good. But they're looking at it as a business person. Like, this looks great, but what about this part? This part of your sales process was unclear. What does it mean
Right.
when you say this? So there's so much power in, and it's a vulnerable feeling, right? Where you're like, look
Right.
at my stuff. Do you like it? But you've created a safe space for women to do that, for women to
Yes.
feel vulnerable and receive criticism in a positive way.
Feedback. Yeah.
And that's so
Positive.
special. When you're lonely at the top, you're creating a space to invite other women to come up top with you. And I think that's incredible.
Thank you.
So let's go back a little bit.
All right. I'm
When
ready.
you ready? Here we go.
I'm ready.
When you were in full mom mode, which, like, you'll always be a mom, right? There will always
Right.
be mom things that go through your brain. Like,
Yeah.
what is my
Oh,
kid doing
yes.
right now as an adult? I have a teenager, and I'm like, I wonder if he's cold right now. It's cold outside. And like, I don't dress him anymore, but I'm still like, I hope he packed a sweater. You're always in mom
course.
mode.
Yes.
When you were in full mom mode, kids were in the house. Was there anything inside of you that felt like, man, I wish I had a group of women to talk about this season I'm in? Or did you already have that? This, whether it's teenagers, whether it's toddlers, being a sports mom. My kids are obnoxiously good at everything, so I feel like I live in the car chauffeuring them around. And sometimes I feel like, God, I just wish I had like another mom that's sitting in the car I could just say and talk to about sitting in the car. So
Yeah.
I'm curious if
Yes.
you had that, or you were yearning for that, and if some of that led to where you are now.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when my kids were younger, my oldest two were pretty good kids for the most. I have three, so I have a girl and a boy, and then another girl. And there's a 2-year gap between the first two, and a 4-year gap between the second and third one.
Gotcha.
Because my second one was a boy, and man. 2, I was like, I am not having another one.
I'm good.
What if it's another boy like this? Like, I cannot. Um,
Yeah.
so when they were little, like I did, the mom play dates and the go to
Okay.
the park. And so I would hang out with
Yeah.
moms there. Then then I had my third one or whatever. And the kids, as they grew up, I was like, oh, my kids are pretty good. Like, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
Then they hit the teenage years. And then I was like, oh, yeah, this is getting kind of hard. And then my middle child, my son, he had some mental health things that we needed help with. And then it was a real struggle, because then I was like, oh, this is really hard.
Right.
And I don't know how to deal with this. And I'm not sure, I needed to find other moms in that same situation.
Yep.
Because I knew I couldn't possibly be the only one, but the things that we were struggling with were not really things that I could just talk to anybody about. Like, it's just, we have things in our lives that are personal, and it really has to be a safe space. I was incredibly lucky in the mental health organization or company that my son ended up working with had a mom's group for that very reason. Because they knew that the moms that were struggling with the things that were going on with their sons needed that space to talk. And that really did influence me and helped me see the power of those types of groups and safe spaces. And that was huge for me. I mean, I was in that group. I mean, my son started getting the mental health help about age 16.
Okay.
And I was in that group for 5 years, because what was interesting is what happened is he graduated at 18 and he moved out and did his thing and whatever. But my younger daughter also started having just had some mental health things that she needed help with, and very specific concerns. Yeah. And it turns out it was this very same mom group that helped me through all of that with her, because they had similar, like, we got together because we had sons with similar things, but it turned out most of us had younger children that we could help relate to. And a lot of the concepts that I learned that helped me as a mom get through this stuff with my son absolutely helped me with my daughter too. It was different challenges with both of them, but the concepts I learned and that core group of women, oh my gosh, was a lifesaver for me. And so then when my youngest moved out, I mean, she's 23 now, so it's been a while. Yeah. In fact, it's interesting because until you asked me that question, I didn't actually notice the connection. So I'm like, aha moment as I'm talking. But that really was one of the things that I missed, because I wasn't part of that mom group anymore. Right. And I didn't have the other, mom things that I was doing. And that is when I really felt alone, because I wasn't struggling with something at that point. Like, my kids figured it out. They got the help that they needed. So I didn't need that mom group anymore. I wasn't hanging out with the play dates. I didn't have young kids. I didn't have teenage, it was me trying to run a business. So now I need a different group of women.
Yeah. No, and I thought that a little bit, because my entire team is moms. They're stay-at-home moms. And that was my intention when I created my team. I want a space for moms to mom however they want to mom. Right. And what I have seen happen is when the littles are really little, when they are newborn to preschool age, there are more opportunities for mom groups, let's go to the gymnastics center and roll around and let them do their pretend tumbling, or let's go meet at a whatever they're doing, like herding cats or something.
They're 3. They're
not a sport.
That's funny.
Getting energy out. There's just more opportunity for that mom closeness. Yes. And what I have seen is kids get to school age, and it dramatically changes. Yes. If you were a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you had a part-time job, or maybe you're like, I have a side business, I do t-shirts and stuff, cool. When your kids go to school, the capacity, your need for other adults changes
It's
so
huge.
much.
Yes.
You don't have a toddler hanging off your leg all day. Your kids are
Right.
in school. You are alone. The availability to join the mom groups when your kids are in school drops off.
Right.
And so when your kids get into, it's funny that you said, it's harder when they're younger, and then you feel it gets easier, and you're like, oh, I can do this again.
You're
They're so
right.
easy. Kids are so great. And then they become teenagers, and you're like,
You're
ay,
like,
ay,
just
what have I
kidding.
done? What
What
have I
was
done?
I thinking?
Yes, I was so silly. But through those hard years, the closeness of community changes greatly. And I would make the bold statement of it's needed more the older they get. So
I agree.
I think those feelings you had when you were in when you were in those groups, assisting you with what your kids needed at that time, I would think the things that you were getting from that group, whether it was phone calls or quick text messages, whether it was prayers, whether it was just feeling like you had people, I think some of those feelings were lingering and you wanted a way to bring it back. But
Absolutely.
you didn't have like an immediate need. You were like, well, I'm okay. My kids are like grown and doing their thing. But it wasn't for your kids, it was for you.
It absolutely was for me. Yeah.
Yes.
I had no bones about that. It totally
Yeah.
was for me. It is something that I needed, and I'm glad that other women need it too. But
Yes.
it is a win-win. Like, it totally builds me up. These women build me up. They inspire me. They help me. They encourage me. I'm like, man, I need you all more than you need
Yeah.
me, probably. Like,
Yeah.
but it's a win-win. The interesting thing that I hear the most, there's two things that I hear the most from the women. Is one, like what you said, it's lonely at the top, or it's
Yeah.
lonely trying to grow. They're lonely. And the second thing that I hear a lot that is kind of interesting is they're like, April, I just need friends. I need business friends. Like,
Yes.
mom friends are one thing and
Yep.
soccer friends are another thing, but
Mhm.
I need friends. Like,
Right.
and they're kind of embarrassed to say that. And I'm like, hey, don't be embarrassed by that. I'm right there with you. Why do you think
Yes.
I do this? We all
Yeah.
need friends.
Right. It's hard to, I hear it all the time. It's hard to make friends as adults. You
It
don't
is.
have an adultier adult setting up play dates for you.
Right.
You don't have something on your calendar that says intentionally try to make friends this day. And
Right.
you don't realize you're lonely until time kind of slows down.
Right.
And when you're in the grind, you're in the grind. You're not thinking about friends, you're thinking
Right.
about being on the
No.
grind. And so
Yeah.
I love that you pointed that out. I hear that there's so much you can get out of a group like yours. It's, accountability, you get the camaraderie, you get business help. There's so many things you can online, but now you're throwing concerts.
Concert, that would be amazing, but
Particular
no.
conferences like a boss, but the friendship when
Yes.
you are an adult is
Yeah.
so critical. And I think as moms, as women, at least I do, I'm always worried about my kids having friends. I'm always like, oh, there's
Yes.
a kid outside. Get out there. Go play with that
Right.
kid.
Yes. Go be friends with that
Right.
person. Go be
Why aren't you,
friends.
where are your
Yes.
friends at? Why don't you have
Right.
more friends? But what about us? We need
Right.
friends too.
Yes.
So we can find friendship in your group. I highly encourage everyone to look for friends in April's group. That is one of the most underrated things I think an adult, not even just women, an adult can intentionally do is make friendships. And it's
Yeah.
hard. It's very
Yeah,
hard.
it is. I agree. Yeah.
And you are making it easier by cultivating this group. So I love
Yeah, I
that.
do.
I think that's so
Yeah.
special. Where now before we started recording, I believe you mentioned that sometimes the group is open, but then sometimes you can take applications. Explain that part to me.
Yes. So the mastermind groups are they're 6-month groups, but the cohorts open every 3 months. So
Okay.
they're kind of on a rotating basis. So at any given time, somebody can get on a waiting list for the next group that's
Okay.
going to be open. Right now I have some open, but depending on when this,
Sure.
podcast airs or whatever, but typically at any given time, within about a month, there will be another group that's opening. And so on the website, there's a waiting list application that
Gotcha.
people can put in. And I have an application, honestly, most people get in, but I want to make sure that you're legitimate and I want to make sure there's the right vibe in there,
Sure.
because I'm not going for a group of mean girls. Like that's just not me. I don't want that. Like, and I typically don't find that, but I also do that so I get to know the women too a little bit before
Right.
I meet with them, before they come into a group. And I want to make sure that the groups are cohesive. Like I actually don't want 12 accountants in the same group. I
Like
want an accountant and I want to, and I want the social media marketer and the branding person and the, even somebody that does skincare all in the same group, because they have such different perspectives that it's nice to put them all together.
Oh, I love that. I actually like that you do an application, because I have found when you make someone fill out something, if there is a step before joining, it weeds out
Yes.
the serious.
True.
And I'm not saying, you know, everyone should fill out forms before they can be in your club. Like,
Right.
like I've just noticed, even from scheduling consult calls, I used to just say, when I first started, when I was a yes man, and I was like, everybody and anybody, come work with me. Someone would text me and say, hey, I want to talk about my taxes. And I would be like, do you have time now? Do you want to do it right now? What I found is when you make people go through steps, fill out this form, find a time on my calendar, it kind of weeds out serious people.
True.
It tells you who actually wants to move forward. So I love that you have an application, because it's showing you that this person is serious. They are looking for what we have. They have read through the things. They have filled out the questions.
Right.
And then you make them wait. So if, they fill it out a month before it opens, and then they have to do an additional step, these people are serious. They
Correct.
want
Yes.
in. So I
Yes.
really like that you do that. So from experience and from what you said, you can go on the website, fill out an application. There were some options there on your website. So talk to me about the options.
So there are two different types of mastermind groups. There's what's called a growth group, and that's open to any woman business owner. And typically they've been in business about 2 years or longer. That's not a hard and fast rule, but it's, again, I'm looking for the serious business owner, just because I want it to be a give and take. And so I want you to be able to receive, but I want you to also be able to give. And so those are open to anybody in any industry, just a woman business owner, like really that's it. And then I have an elite group that is a little bit of the women have been in business longer. They've owned their business at least 5 years. They're very successful. They're typically at a higher level in their business. And for them, they just want a different type of mastermind than is being offered in the growth group. And really they just want perspective from somebody else that's at the same level as them. I get we're all on a different journey. And so there's no like good or bad, in either of them. It's just the different, they just have a little bit more experience in their industry. And often in the elite group, sometimes the women are always the givers because they just know a lot of stuff, and they're at a place where they're like, I just want to receive for just a second. Like, I just need to be in a room where I can receive a little bit more than give. And then in the elite groups too, these are the ladies that I use because I know that they're advanced in their business. They're very successful. They're experts in their field. They're the ladies that I pull from to speak at the conferences, to be on the expert panels, to teach in the group. And again, because I know them really well too. And so I can call on them. Usually I can call them at the drop of a hat and say, hey, I got a thing coming up. Can you help? And they're like, yes, I'm there.
Absolutely.
And then, for the conferences, they'll help lead masterminds and they'll teach. And And they're also, that one is a bigger application, a longer one, and there's just a certain type of woman. I just want to make sure she's like you, Ashley, just very heart centered and wanting to give and really wanting to share what she knows, because she truly wants to build up other women and help them grow their business too.
Oh, that's special too. And it feels like if they're in that elite group and you're able to pull them in for masterminds, you're able to utilize them for conferences, they must want that as well. Otherwise, they would
Yes.
say no.
Correct.
They would say,
Yes.
"No,
Yeah,
thank you."
absolutely. So part of being an elite, obviously, for them, I mean, I just straight up, I'm sure it's marketing for them too, because they're recognized as the experts in their field. They're visible in the community. Like, they're the go-to person. And so I mean, I hope they get business from it. I mean, for me, that's a collaboration. Like, you come here and then I'm going to send business to you. You're going to send business to me. Like, we're great partners that way. It's good collaborations. And then the women within the groups, I connect them together with each other too, whether it's growth or elite, not just elite. Like, a lot of them will connect because I love making introductions and, you know, like, hey, I know somebody, and connecting them together with what they're needing. And, you know, I get a lot of joy out of that, and I love it.
That's good too. And of course it helps them. You're helping women be elevated if they want to. But they just sign up for your group, so they obviously don't mind a little elevation. And helping them practice their skills, their public speaking skills, their coaching skills. So it's just making them a little better at their own practice. So I think that's so cool. Lastly, a little bit of a curveball. What does your day-to-day look like?
What does my day-to-day look like?
Yeah, as someone that runs an essentially online group, an online mastermind, I get asked this question often because I have a virtual firm. And so people are like, what do you do all day? Are you wearing pants? Like, do you have a bunch of cats? Two truths and a lie, if you will. You know, what does your everyday look like? If you're sitting in front of your computer, do you go outside? Do you go on walks? What does your everyday look like?
I like to be outside. So I'm an early riser. I get up at 5:30 every morning. Now, I will say I have not always done that. When I had kids, so back in the day when I was in college and stuff, I got up early. I've always kind of been an early riser. Then I had kids, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I just cannot get out of bed some days. So there was that. Now the kids are gone. I set my own schedule.
Yeah.
Yes. But I do work out every morning. I just because it helps me get up, get going. I love to walk. I usually walk usually about 4 to 5 miles, and then I do like strength training and whatever. So I love that. I spend time. I get home, I shower, get changed. Okay, right? We're going to just go through the whole day. And then I spend about 30 minutes journaling, meditating, praying, just my thing. Like, it's me time, and that's when I get a lot of inspiration and have thoughts, and I like to write them down. I have a separate office in my house. And so for me, that's kind of nice, because it's like, now I'm working and now I'm not, although my brain never shuts off, even if I'm not in the office. My brain doesn't know that, but in theory, that's how it works. So I try to be to work by 8 o'clock in the morning. It's just kind of a thing for me. And then I try to be done by 5. And I try really hard not to work nights. And I try even harder not to work weekends, because that's just kind of my time. And so I do the best I can. There are some times that I'm like, I just have to get this done. And, I do that. And then during the week, I try to segment my days. So typically Mondays are admin days, where I just do all of the basic administrative stuff, the emails, all the things, I don't know. The list never ends on the admin stuff. So Mondays are my admin days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are my either mastermind days or networking days. I do a lot of local networking in person. I do a lot of online networking. So I just fill my days with that. And then of course there's, the answering the emails and, doing all the things in there. I have a Facebook group, so I do have to go in and check that. And, so that's kind of interspersed in there. And then Fridays for me are my people days. So this was perfect. We do the podcast recording on a Friday. I have an online networking group that I also run that's on Friday. And then the other thing that I do on Fridays to get to know people is instead of one-on-one calls, which they were so overwhelming, I just couldn't keep up on them. I do 4-on-4 calls. So I have me and like 3 to 4 other women together and we'll just, because it's the same call, whether it's you and one person or you and 3 people, but this way everybody gets to meet other people and everybody maximizes their time. So it just, little fun thing to do are 4-on-4 calls, and the women love them. And I always just tell them, I'm like, just pretend we're having brunch and we're just going to get to know each other, and we're going to talk about who we are and what we do and what we like. And if we like, today we chatted about ice cream and Costco chocolate soft serve and just whatever. It's just low key, have fun, get to know each other for 45 minutes. And so Fridays are my people days. And then Friday afternoons are my, write everything down that's in your head that you need to do on Monday to get it out of your head so you can enjoy the weekend.
Move on.
And then I have a notebook for that.
Fun. No, I love hearing that just with this online world, the working from home world. Everyone's day is so incredibly different. And I know when I was in the corporate world, in the 9-to-5 world, my days were somewhat predictable.
Right.
I wake up at the same time every day, kids to school every day. You clock in and you're in the same space for the next 8 to 9 hours. Sometimes you get a little wild and you would like go out for lunch. Like, well, let's get crazy, and then the evenings were the same. But I found since 2020 and working from home, my days are different every day. And I love it. So I love to hear what other people are doing. And I love the 4-on-4, instead of a 1-to-1, because those take so much time.
They do. That's what I found is I was like, I don't have the time. I can't do it.
That is such a good idea. Let's bring more people together. Yes, I love that so much. Bring a bunch of people together. Let's have brunch or lunch.
Online brunch. It's great.
I think that's great. Oh man. So I am so grateful that you gave me some of your time on Friday, spending time with me. I know it's a 1-to-1, but
that's okay. You're recording, so it's good.
Yeah, so it'll be a 1-to-many eventually. Thank you so much for hopping on today. I will put your website in the show notes, but I encourage anyone that is out there feeling like there's just something missing. There are so many business owners today, more than there has ever been. Small business owners, women, small business owners. There is more today than there has literally ever been in the history of mankind. And if you're feeling like there's just something missing, if you're feeling like you need a soundboard to go through ideas, or you just want to have those people in your corner, I encourage everyone to reach out to April, to go on the website, to find her and connect with her. I would be happy to have a 4-on-4, a 4-on-1, a 4-on.
You should come.
Happy to jump in on that. Because I but firmly believe you can never have too many friends. So
totally agree.
Happy to do that. April, thank you so much for coming on.
If I could do it all over again, there'd be no wish I would, should have been. Spend more time with my family and friends. If I could do it all over again, I'd wake up early.